There's a birthday nobody warns you about. Not 18, not 30, not even 40, 25. Because somewhere around age 25, your brain quietly closes a door, not all at once, not violently, just quietly. And most people don't even notice it happening. They just notice years later that learning a new language suddenly feels impossible. Words slip, grammar doesn't stick, accents refuse to disappear, and they blame themselves. I'm just not good at languages. I don't have the gift. I waited too long. None of that is really true. What's true is stranger, and more specific than that. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what happens in your brain after 25, and what you can still do about it. In 2018, researchers analyzed data from over 500,000 people learning English. Not a small study, 500,000. And they found something remarkably precise. Children who start learning a second language before age 10 can often reach native-level fluency. But that ability doesn't fade slowly over decades. It drops sharply, right around age 18. And by 25, the window for effortless, native-like fluency is essentially closed. Not impossible to learn after that. Just a different kind of learning from here on out. Reason number 1, your brain stops building. Up until your mid-20s, your brain is still under construction, literally. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for reasoning, decision-making, and yes, language, doesn't finish developing until around age 25. During that construction phase, your brain is incredibly flexible. Neuroscientists call this plasticity. New neural pathways form easily. Language rules get absorbed almost automatically, but once construction finishes, the brain shifts from building mode into maintenance mode. It gets efficient, fast, specialized, but also rigid. Learning a new language after 25 isn't wiring a new road. It's trying to build a new road through a city that already has all its roads decided. Reason number 2, and this one surprises people, your first language isn't neutral anymore. It's aggressive. By the time you're an adult, your native language has had 2 decades to dig in. Every sound, every grammar rule, every sentence pattern is deeply automated. So when you try to learn a new language, your native language doesn't politely step aside, it interferes. Linguists call this language interference, or L1 transfer. Your mouth wants to make the sounds it already knows. Your brain wants to apply grammar rules it already trusts. Kids don't have this problem, because their first language isn't fully set yet. Adults are learning a new language while fighting an old one. Reason number 3. Your mouth stops learning before your brain does. Here's something fascinating. The ability to produce native-like sounds in a new language closes even earlier than the ability to learn grammar or vocabulary. Some researchers place this window as early as age 6 to 12. Why? Because the muscles in your mouth, tongue, and throat form specific motor patterns for the sounds of your native language early in life. After that, producing entirely new sounds your mouth has literally never made, becomes a physical skill, not just a mental one. That's why someone can speak fluent, grammatically perfect English, and still have a noticeable accent decades later. It's not a lack of practice, it's a closed motor learning window. Reason number 4. Adults think about language instead of absorbing it. A child learning grammar doesn't know what a verb conjugation is. They just hear a pattern enough times, and it becomes automatic. No rules, no explanations, just absorption. Adults learn completely differently. We're taught rules, charts, exceptions, verb tables, and this is where it backfires because conscious, rule-based learning uses a completely different part of the brain than natural language acquisition. It's slower, it's effortful. It requires active thinking every single time you speak. That's why you can know a grammar rule perfectly on paper and still freeze up trying to use it in real conversation. You're not applying language. You're solving a puzzle in real time. Reason number 5 isn't neurological. It's practical. After 25, most people don't have thousands of free hours anymore. Kids have almost nothing but time. Adults have jobs, bills, relationships, responsibilities. Learning a language competes with everything else in your life for attention. And when motivation dips or a busy week hits, language practice is usually the first thing that gets dropped. Not because adults can't learn, because adults have far less uninterrupted time to practice the way children do. Now here's the important part. Harder does not mean impossible. Thousands of adults learn new languages fluently well past 25. Every single year, the brain doesn't fully lock after 25. It just stops learning by accident, which means past that age, you have to learn on purpose, strategically, deliberately, consistently. The method has to change because the biology already has. So if you're past that window, here's what actually works. 1. Prioritize listening over grammar. Flood your brain with real spoken language, so patterns start becoming automatic again, just like they did when you were a kid. 2. Train your mouth, not just your memory. Practice speaking out loud, shaping unfamiliar sounds physically and repeatedly, even if it feels awkward. 3. Reduce native language interference. Try thinking in short phrases in the new language instead of translating word for word. 4. Use spaced repetition instead of cramming. Adult brains retain new information best through consistent spaced review, not long study sessions. 5. Protect small pockets of daily time. 10 focused minutes a day, done consistently, beats 1 long session a week, every time. You're not trying to relearn like a child. You're learning like an adult who understands exactly why this is harder, and works with that instead of against it. So no, you didn't miss some magical permanent window. You crossed into a different kind of learning, slower to start. Harder to unlock, but still very, very possible. The 25-year-old brain isn't broken, it's just finished building the easy road. Which means now you have to build the hard one on purpose. And that's exactly what separates people who wish they spoke another language from people who actually do.